We all have those days where we know we have a lot of work to do, but we just don't feel like doing it. You sit at your computer, start staring at it, and begin to feel a resistance to start working. Next thing you know, you get easily distracted by a notification on your phone. This is where your focus begins to shift and the procrastination starts. Throughout the day, you continue to resist working and convince yourself that you can do it later. Before you know it, you have wasted the whole day being lazy, and the feeling of regret sets in as you realize you've gotten no work done. I'm sure we've all had days where we felt like this, and this is something I've struggled with a lot. I would have so many videos I wanted to work on, but I would never actually get any work done. This is because I would procrastinate all day and tell myself I could do it tomorrow, but before I knew it, it would be the next day and the next day, and the next thing I knew, I wouldn't be getting any work done for months. Procrastination and laziness were becoming an everyday part of my life, and that is until I solved this problem with something magical called self-discipline. So what is self-discipline? Self-discipline is the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses, the ability to pursue what you want despite feelings of resistance. It means taking action and doing work even when you don't feel like it. Once I built the skill of self-discipline, I started getting a lot more work done and my days of laziness disappeared. So that's what I'm going to show you today, exactly how I built self-discipline and stopped being lazy. So let's start with the first thing I did. Creating a plan increases motivation because it helps you clearly see what you need to get done, and it defines your goals. It helps lower the resistance to actually doing the work because you start to have a structure to your work. Before I created my plan, I was unorganized and would just record videos whenever I felt like it. This obviously made it easier to procrastinate because I had no routine. Once I created my plan, this is when I built my discipline and I started to become more organized, and I got a whole bunch more work done throughout the day. So let me show you how I created my plan. So I use Notion to organize my entire life. I'm going to quickly be going over how I use Notion to create my plan, but in the future I'll be making a video on how I organize my life, my notes, my videos, and more in Notion. So make sure to press subscribe and turn on notifications if you don't want to miss that video. So let's start with the first thing I did, which was create a to-do list. So on my to-do list, I write down everything I have to do, and I keep track of my status on it, whether it's complete, not completed, or it has been started and in progress. And then I keep track of the date I completed it to see how fast I'm completing each task. And this really helps me keep track of my progress, and it increases motivation every time I complete a task because I'm getting things done. And then the next thing I did for my plan was I created daily, weekly, and long-term goals. The daily goals keep me motivated throughout the day, make sure I'm getting all these goals done every single day. Then my weekly goals are the things I have to get done for the week. It's basically like my to-do list, but I organize it so it's what I have to do for that certain week. So I don't feel like I have this huge to-do list and I don't have any structure to when I have to do them. Creating my weekly to-do list gives me a structure to what I have to do for that certain week. And then I have my long-term goals, what my overall goal is, and what keeps me motivated for the long term. Because when you're doing work, it's often not the short-term gratification and dopamine you're getting, it's instead the long-term gratification and dopamine that you'll be receiving from completing your tasks, your work, or your goals. This plan makes it clear what I have to do every day and prevents me from using that task, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, because now I know what I have to do on each day because of my daily and my weekly to-do list. Overall, creating a plan helps give you a structure to your work and really helps decrease your procrastination. So let's move on to the next tip now. So now that we have a plan, how do we actually follow through on this plan and get the work done that we need to get done? My answer to this is very simple. Just start. My common excuses every day were, I can do this tomorrow, I'm not feeling inspired today, and I'm too tired. Procrastination and making excuses just increases resistance. Instead, you should just start and get the work done that you need to get done. Like I said, my biggest excuse was, I'm not feeling inspired today, I can wait till tomorrow when I feel motivated to make videos. But the truth is, I didn't need to wait for motivation to find inspiration. Inspiration will find you once you take action. When you actually start the work you need to get done, you enter a flow state after the first few minutes and you end up getting a lot of work done. That's why it's important to overcome the resistance before it even starts. For example, when I would record videos, I knew it would be a 12-hour day and a lot of work, so I would have a ton of resistance before I even started. I would make up excuses of why I couldn't record that day. I wasn't feeling inspired. As you know, that was my biggest excuse. And I would just end up not doing anything that day. That is until I learned how to overcome this resistance by just starting. Now, I'll just get up, get out of bed, get ready on my recording days, and just press record, start recording my video. And once I start, it's actually really easy and I start enjoying it, and the work becomes nothing to me. I'll go through the whole day, and before I know it, it's 6 p.m. I'm like, where'd the time go? It's because I entered my flow state and I was just working on my video without worrying about resistance. And sometimes you just have to ignore your emotions of laziness and tiredness or whatever and just get started. Take action and do what you need to do. This doesn't just apply to creative work either. It can apply to many things in your life. For example, when I work out, at the beginning I feel lazy, I don't want to do it, but I just start and I get into a flow and it gets easy as I go on, and after I do the workout I feel great, so it was worth it to do it. You just have to take action. Stop making excuses, stop being lazy, stop overthinking, just start. Habits are the building blocks of self-discipline. If you build good habits, good discipline will follow. That's because it takes 28 days of commitment to build a habit. Every time you do something to build a habit, a little bit of self-discipline will be built as well. By creating consistency through building habits, I can't even say by creating consistency right now. Like I need some water. I can barely talk. Alright, much better. By creating consistency through building habits, you'll train your mind to follow through on your commitments, therefore lowering the resistance to work. Working out is a great habit to increase your discipline because it requires a commitment every day. Every workout you do builds a little bit more discipline, and eventually it becomes a habit and part of your daily routine. Today it can be so easy to get distracted while trying to work. Things such as our cell phones, social media, TV, and more make it so easy to take away our attention. That's why it's important to remove these distractions to stay in a workflow. This is because having these distractions makes it easier to procrastinate. In my recent video about how to take back control of your life, I go in depth on how I removed my distractions and how they were holding me back. I'll link it above if you want to check the video out. Anyways, the main thing that worked for me to remove these distractions was to create my plan. See how it's all coming full circle now? I created time blocks in which I had to work without these distractions. That way I could focus only on my work. So basically for about 9 hours a day, I would remove all these distractions and work only on my videos. I would turn off all my notifications except for the important ones, and also go full screen on whatever I was working on to avoid any distractions on my computer. This helps me get a lot more done because I enter a flow state where I'm only working on the things I need to complete on my computer. Okay, on to the next tip. Now that we have everything we need to build self-discipline, we have to maintain it and hold ourselves accountable. One of the biggest problems I had over the years was staying consistent. I would always be productive for a few months, then I'd go right back to being lazy. Self-discipline has helped me build consistency, but how do I maintain it? First, I make sure to always work even when I don't feel like working. There's always going to be days when you feel lazy, but you have to make sure to work to keep your discipline. The next thing I do is keep track of my progress of my self-improvement and everything I need to work on in my monthly journal. Life gets busy, and sometimes you won't even be able to notice if you aren't getting enough work done. That's why it's so important to keep track of it, and that's why it's so important to hold yourself accountable. And what holds me accountable the most is my girlfriend. She's my accountability partner. She gives me motivation even when I don't have any, and makes sure I'm actually getting work done. If I don't wake up by 8 a.m., she'll literally text me and tell me to get out of bed to get some work done, and that's just one of the many things she does to keep me accountable and motivated. I feel like it's very important to have someone like that in your life because sometimes we need the extra push on days we don't feel like working or doing anything. We need another person interested in our goals and to keep us up even at our lowest points. Jennifer does that for me, and that's one of the many reasons I love her so much. Love you. By doing these 5 things, you can start building self-discipline and get a lot more work done. Remember to keep working towards your goals every day and you will achieve them. I hope that I was able to inspire you guys today, and if I did, if you could press subscribe, it would mean so much to me, and turn on my post notifications to be notified anytime I post a new video. That's about all I got for this video today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.